Woo, 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 woo. Thank you for coming back. This is season 7, episode 8. Julian Luciano here, your licensed massage therapist and host of the UNIC Different podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been phenomenal to be with you guys. I am completely happy to be here again to just voice out what I have to say. And I want to talk about a little bit more in depth today about what I've been seeing and observing of the changes of history. The changes of history have been very clear, and I really want to point this out. What I've been seeing in modernism, the taking over of modernism, or the actual development of modernism, is really just being able to observe how we're really, getting rid of the land, getting rid of the soil that we walk on, getting rid of all the traditions that really matter. External forces being the causes of our families to go separate ways, or for people to stop wanting to enjoy each other's company, just because of external forces. And that can be politics, that can be the house color, that can be what you believe in, that can be your religion, that can be anything. And it's just you, right? Not you per se, but it's really just ideologies of others that go around and their traumas. And it's not to knock on traumas and not to knock on any mental disabilities. Of course, there are situations where I like to say it's a tough trauma, but we really do put those things ahead of what is really in front of us, or put it in the way of what is in front of us, better said. And I just want to let you guys know that it is a beautiful day. It is fantastic outside. Sun is out. It's like around 87 degrees, and clouds are somewhat taking a role on the sun, taking a role, blocking the sun and allowing there to be some sunlight and some not. But my whole point is that it's a beautiful day. I just stared out the window, and my goodness, earlier walked outside, stretched outside for a couple minutes. It's really important that we absorb that fresh air, right? The rest that's left of it, and just enjoy it, because we have this release of cortisol, and it's to a point where it's actually taking over people's lives. Stress, cortisol. And I really do believe that we need to be more aware of our surroundings. We have to be aware of what's going on. We have to be aware of our emotional state. We have to be aware that every single day there's new opportunities, right? We have to understand that, because you didn't push out 120 email responses today doesn't mean, you can't just settle back until 60 and then do another 60 tomorrow. Yeah, well, my job requires me to. Well, listen, that's going to raise and spike your cortisol levels. You need to understand and that you are a professional, not a machine. It is okay to have a conversation with your manager, or per se, just putting a story out there, just putting an image, right? It is okay to understand that, I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do today, but I can leave it for tomorrow. It's okay. It's fine. Now, not saying, sit down and do nothing, right? Not saying sit down on a couch and watch Netflix all day, or go on YouTube and be on your phone for all day. Now, that's if that's what, moves your boat, rocks your boat, then cool. But what I've been seeing is that it's been affecting our lives. Technology has been affecting our lives, because it's the new innovative way to maintain people's attention. Our attention span has been cut out, to 15 seconds per video. And that's real data from a big, large company that is in charge of putting news out into the, quote unquote news onto the social media platforms. They say that people's attention span is around 15 seconds, and it is quite interesting to know that we have the outside, we have the nature to be surrounded around, we have the most powerful connection to life around us, which are humans, which are animals, trees, plants. All these living organisms are around us, but we must understand that life isn't just superficial, right? It's not like, okay, I'm going to get the car, I'm going to get the car, I'm going to get the house, I'm going to get the house. After the house, I got to get the retirement plan. After the retirement plan, I got to get the IRA. After the IRA, I have to invest that money so I can go ahead and be tax-free and send all that. Those are all good things about this world, that has been created by man to be able to take advantage of. Now, I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying that when it becomes a routine to where we're focused on that and we're very, we need to make it to the Roth IRA. If not, we're not going to have money for, Social Security. Okay, but where do you live throughout that whole process? Like, when do you go out and see a sunset, see a sunrise, instead of just trying to exert yourself and cause more cortisol release so that you literally have no time for yourself? And it may seem like you don't have time for yourself, but the actual truth is that you haven't been aware enough to be able to understand that you are going through a process, right? And that you must enjoy every single day and be happy, because this is a whole process to another step that you can achieve. But we must be aware of what is going on. People are dying. People aren't making it. People aren't making it. Now, this is a truth. Now, for example, Complex on Instagram, they'll go ahead and show you all the dead legends, quote unquote legends that have been, from the last 20 years. And we're going to show you all the dead people that, celebrities that have been, and it's sad. It's really sad that we're losing people at such young ages on such big stages due to either fentanyl overdoses, shootings, just jail time, staying in the streets and operating on that frequency. Now, it is incredible to see these people, dying, and our family members dying, and, after having a lot, these celebrities have a lot in the sense of, you could just take this and run with it. You ought to impacted 500 people, 500,000, a million, 20 million, 20,000, 30,000 people's lives. And you can just, go on to the wind, lay low, and relax somewhere on the beach where you can raise a nice, beautiful family. Find yourself a nice woman that just wants to be there for you, cook there for you, raise your children, nourishing. My whole point is that we need to understand that this is all due to cortisol levels, stressors. You're getting headlines out here. We're reading the headlines out here, not we. A lot of people are reading the headlines. The famous headlines. They were stored into older generations to where they used to put headlines on the front page of the newspaper. That's how you knew the most important news. The most important news is on the front page, big letters, shocking news, golly, world news, still goes on. Magazines, we see them every single line in Publix. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying to be more aware of your surroundings, because things are happening, stages are shifting, time is going by, and, there's no time to waste. I think that's the most precious thing. We don't get it back. We know that for sure. So what are we going to do? Waste our time? No, we cannot. And I'm not saying do what you want to do. And I'm not saying you have to be a certain way. This is not it. I am not telling you that. I am just saying be creative, have an idea, understand it, do good by people. Live your life happy, It's understandable to be in such, it's easy to understand that it's hard for you to be understood. So I understand how it can sound hard to understand, but you're just you. That's you. The way you are is okay in society. And I'm not saying like, I'm not agreeing with all the violence and all those type of things. You want to be that type, I don't believe in that. That's just, bad ways. I'm talking about all the beautiful things in life. I'm not talking about the negative things in life. I'm talking about the beautiful things, and how, again, we can go outside for a nice walk, enjoy the trees, enjoy the wind, enjoy the sun, beaming on you. Yeah, it might be a little hot, but you're at where you're at. It might be a little cold, but you're at where you're at. Enjoy it. Might as well enjoy that, because you're there. You're alive. You understand? You're not 6 feet below. You're not racing to die. Sometimes those cortisol levels can push you in those directions. Stress can push you. There's scientific proof that cortisol is the reason why depression is active, quote unquote depression, quote unquote obesity, quote unquote, all these different things. I've seen it as a licensed massage therapist as well. I've seen people come in to get massages and can't even relax during the massage because they're expecting, they need to get home, they need to clean and I need to cook. I haven't cooked, I gotta go, it's late, it's getting late, I gotta go. Okay, well, we all know it's dark outside, but I mean, no need to rush through the dark, no need to rush through the night. There is a beautiful thing that I learned from my brother's passing, and I'll share this because I do have listeners on here that knew him. And I do want to let you guys know that what I picked up from his passing, and it is that my brother was a phenomenal person. He was a phenomenal person. He was great, artistic, loving, nurturing, understood life, knew how to move in this world, Midas, like maybe his ways and ideologies of he could have been a little bit more opening and understanding to others. Maybe, yes, possibly. Who knows? I don't want to be the judge of anything that he did, because I am not God, But I do want to let you know that my brother really did have a beautiful, beautiful life, and he was really could have just, gone somewhere else, relaxed, tranquilo, Connecticut really is something, that the influence, highly influenced, It was very, very tough, but I do want to say that God allowed me to see, the whole development, the whole born, growing up, having those small or those big times, right? When I used to see him, when I used to visit, when I used to go up there, I used to have great times, laughing all the time, never a bad moment, Everything was always fun. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that it can always be that way. There's no need to lose that inner child that we have, If we're focusing on the positive things as children, right? And we're seeing the innocence in children, and we're seeing the happiness that some of our pasts, bring us. I mean, I guess I can say, for me, I guess I'm just saying it for me. I'm sorry. I got to use my experiences from the past were very positive and friendly when it came to spending time with my brother. So I just wanted to say that I take those positive images and those positive memories, and I just remember those positive times, Yes, there is ups and downs in life, apparently, according to the stigma that's been placed on that, right? I just see life as experience, you're experiencing a lot, I'm not saying like, you can't be emotional, but I'm saying like, not like a drill sergeant out here, but I'm just saying like, there are things do happen for a reason. We do pass, but might as well, and we have to enjoy life. There's just, it's the number one cause in diseases is cortisol. It's the number one cause in depression, cortisol. Like, this is something that is serious. It's killing people. It's getting people killed. Stress. So I want to remember the beautiful things in life, right? I don't focus on the negative. I don't focus on the BS. I don't focus on any of the external energies around me, because at the end of the day, I came in here alone and I'm going to leave alone. It's not like, oh, I can't make no friends. No, it's not like, oh, I can't have no people. No, it's not like that. It's more like, I love everybody for who they are, because I understand that we are all one. And what I mean by that is that I've possibly can relate to a lot of people. People can really relate. I've related to a lot of people that I've met and understand where they're at. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah, you're the lawyer. You understand. You read all these pages a day. You're tired when you come in for that massage. I can see the bags under your eyes, dehydration, lack of sleep. I can see the cortisol on how your body is twitching, in different ways, not to be like, completely like not being able to relax, It's just like sipping soda. When you sip soda, it's sugar, of course, you're sipping. So you're sipping the sugar and your body just tingles, it's like, it's ready to go, it's just like a bang. It's just like a Red Bull gives you wings, And I'm not bashing these companies. I'm just saying, I'm comparing the altered state that we get in when we're on these chemicals. And it's the same thing when it comes to well, not a chemical release, I'd say, but yes, hormone release, of cortisol, releases into your body. And it's like, whoa, okay, okay, what was that? Okay, I get it. Let's not talk about what goes on at your job, and not like that, not like we can't hear you and not listen, but let's just focus on the beautiful things. Look, I was at work. How does this sound? Oh my God, I came home and, the door opens, clink, 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 boom, bah. Okay. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that, oh my God, you can't believe it. This was Robert, Robert that sits across me. It was just like, oh my God, like he just played all this music all the time. And I'm just so mad because I know that the way that he's decorating his cubicle is just not the right way. It's not in the standard of what we signed up for. So please have him take down these Easter pictures, because I just don't understand. Like, imagine coming home to that. Not saying that is out there, I'm painting a picture so you can see the altered cortisol that once you walk in through that door, boom, attack, Or it could be like, damn, babe, you know what? Can you believe that I was at the factory? And when I was at the factory, it was just like, oh my God, it was so, my goodness, everybody was just so slow. I couldn't take it no more. I was at the supermarket next door, and they took so long to get my damn pub sub ready. Can you believe that? I just can't believe how slow he was back there, or she. I just don't know. Did they get the chicken at time? Like, whoa, look at how altered your state is. Like, can we reel it in? It's not that serious. Why don't you say, wow, so today I was able to go to Publix, man, and, I was able to wait in line, and I just waited with my avocados and my watermelon juice, and, I was just enjoying, people were so amazing. It's an operating system. Everything is so beautiful. There's no need. Oh my God, thank you so much, for ringing me out. How's your day going? Great. Okay, I'm on my way home. Click, get to the house. Boom, boom, boom. I'm here. Okay. Be right there. Get it. Open the door. Clink, clink. Oh, I need help with my groceries. Okay. No problem. Oh, so how was it? Oh, man, you're not going to believe it. I went to the supermarket and it was just phenomenal. Everybody was just operating, doing their thing. Man, I'm just so great to be here with you, I just wanted to let you know that I got some fruits for us, This is a watermelon for you. This is a banana for me. And, I brought some water. How was your day? It was great. It was very great. Just was able to go to work. I saw my guy at the cubicle next door. He put up some nice decorations, enjoying his space, or her space. And it was just phenomenal, great day. Was able to take a couple calls, do a couple, write a couple things up, send a couple emails. Man, just phenomenal day. Very progressive, very progressive. Yeah, no, the boss did want me to, not the boss, the manager did want me to reach, certain amount. But I told them, like, look, I try to handle all these calls with purity, with intention. So, I'm just trying to do that, I believe in building rapport with people, not just, so I told them I'll get it done. I'm going to get it done. Tomorrow I should be straight, by half day I'll be all right. Done, easy, seamless. You see what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to say. We don't have to alter our cortisol levels just because, we don't have to rush through a day just because, we can pay attention to what goes on around us. We can be so aware. Listen, why not? We can enjoy some nice orange juice, with the pulp in it, It's a beautiful life we got out here, guys. We're losing. We're down, Technology is erasing a lot. Buildings are erasing a lot. Houses are erasing a lot. History, good times, Went to a conservation the other day. It said, we protect the conservation of whatever. Not going to say the location. And torn down miles ready for new houses, miles. I was like, wow. They got rid of the greenery, man. They're getting rid of the colors. We're going to be colorless. Just black, white, houses all look the same. No identity, And these are the things that I am witnessing that is going on. All of this is happening right now, So many different construction, breaking through roads, asphalt smelling like toxic, just air purity is just at a super disgusting level, pollen all in the air, pollen doesn't even have nowhere to go because there's no greenery. So it's active, it's out there, so that then turns into allergies because at the end of the day, all living organisms do need carbon dioxide, The only thing that cleans and purifies and gentrifies our oxygen or gives us or provides us with O2 is plants, They take in the carbon dioxide and release oxygen. But, everybody think I'm crazy, Oh, you're crazy. You don't know, we got to build on top of this land because we need to make money because everything revolves around money. What do you want to do? They want to keep people homeless? There's nobody, Yeah, but, I don't know if we need to take down these trees right here. I don't know if we have to eliminate a whole swamp. I don't know if we have to extinct a whole animal. Just because we need to build more land, quote unquote, build more on top of the land. It's just the purity, I'm watching humanity do what they want to do with Mother Nature, and it's just like, no, I can't take it. So that's my visual But I do want to say that when you get past the state of observing what's going around you and you're so aware, you're able to be in harmony at the same time as being aware. Why? Because you understand, again, you understand what's going around you. You see the things that are going around you. You understand? You see the differences in the banana sizes per se. You see the differences in the things that we consume, right? You see the differences in changes and how the colors are being, accepted in different ways, and how everything is just more modern. And I'm not saying that this world is useless, right? Definitely not saying that. I'm not saying that people are useless. Definitely not saying that. I'm not saying that people need to change and follow my ways. Definitely not saying that. I'm saying that you and I see different, and that's it. Period. And that's all it's all about. I mean to bring no hate to my people. I love everybody. I love the person that cleans. I love for example, when I used to work at the airport, I loved the same way I loved the client that came in is the same way that was going to bring me money, is the same way I loved the person that was cleaning, to make the airport look nice, janitors, older ones too, with a lot of wisdom, tranquilos, chilling, doing their thing every single day. The same thing. I love the Auntie Anne's people, that were making all the pretzels, with cinnamon on it, 430 calories, pushing that out. I love them too. I love the people that consume it. I love everybody. It's really about loving everybody and walking as a real person, man, and just enjoying what we have, making it to a certain age is a privilege. We are privileged to become aged. We are in love, bro. We love our lives, Love your life, Love your life. If there's one thing that you can do, be happy, Be happy. It really, truly is a blessing to be happy now. Oh, what do you expect for me to just, wake up every day happy? Yes. Have you tried that? That's such a beautiful thing. Now, I'm not saying not the monetary happy, the spurt happy, like, oh, okay, I'm happy today, and tomorrow I'm going to be like, oh my God, like, no. Or for 2 weeks I'll be happy, and then for 2 weeks I won't. Like, I'm saying practice this. Open your heart, open your mind, Be like water, quote. This is what it means. We are able to observe, we observed what happened. Now it is very tragic what happened to my brother Zaire, King Zaire. It was very tragic what happened. But the lessons that I've learned from his passings are very, very real. He left, and left an impact, a real legend, left an impact on what was real. It's real, These things are happening. We must change. We must evolve and adapt to the new times, And that's all. That's all I have to say. This is a beautiful day. Thank you for hopping on and listening to You and I See Different. It is a great day to be with you guys. It is a great day to put this out. It is a phenomenal day. We are already actually, it is the 7th day of the month. We have been in April for a full week. It's so beautiful. Man, we are blessed, people. We are blessed. Love yourself, or no one else would. Love yourself, love others, love everything that works and does its thing around you. If that's the squirrels in the morning, if that's the birds that are chirping, if that's the flowers that are blossoming, if that's the grass that's getting greener, if that's the person that's putting up the sign, if that's the janitor cleaning the hall, if that's the police officer doing his patrol, you know, if that's the bus driver picking up strangers and taking them, you know, civilians, you know, community, taking them to where they need to go via a route, you know, love that person. Good morning. Have a good day. You know, I hope you make it home, you know, safe, you know, tranquila, tranquilo, you know, enjoy. And I guess I just want to leave you guys with this.
My raps come from me, personally.
No,
from my brain.
Okay.
Everything I think, I put it in a song.
A legend. I'll play it one more time.
My raps come from me, personally.
No,
from my brain.
Okay.
Everything I think, I put it in a song.
I love you guys so much. Y'all have a phenomenal day. Thank you for being a part of my audience. Thank you for listening. Thank you for just tuning in if that's the first couple of minutes. I am so grateful for you. If you listen to the whole thing, shoot me a text message if you have my number. Tell me that a beautiful thing that happened today. You know? Enjoy, y'all.
My raps come from me, personally.
No,
from my brain.
Okay.
Everything I think, I put it in a song.